this week, we got some major Avengers Doomsday casting news.
In the form of chairs.
In the form of chairs. There's like
a
video,
very slow reveal of chairs.
video
very
event.
slow.
And I have to say, I mean, what did you guys think of I assume you've watched the video. Like,
supposedly, or at least according to Marvel, or Disney, I guess is really who it's according to. There's like 4 times the number of people watched these chairs than watched the Deadpool Wolverine Super Bowl ad, which was the most watched trailer of all time.
Yeah.
What is
this like these chairs crushed everything. These chairs, guys. These chairs.
Slow reveal of chairs.
Yes. According to Deadline, a lot of people sat in rapt attention to watch 27 chairs get laid out in a row for over 5 hours. 275 million views over its runtime and 3.1 million mentions across social media. But let's talk about what actually happened with these chairs. So, reading here from Deadline, the following people were cast. The Avengers are assembling again for Avengers Doomsday, and Marvel is confirming the actors and superheroes appearing in the next installment. Chris Hemsworth, Anthony Mackie, Vanessa Kirby.
You going to do them all?
Yeah. Paul Rudd, Florence Pugh.
You got to slow down, Dave. 1 every 10 seconds.
Yeah. Okay. This is why we don't get the kind of numbers that Marvel gets, is because we're we're not patient.
Talk about edging over here. Yeah.
I mean, this segment is going to take at least 20 minutes, even if I read the names fast. So, Tenoch Huerta, Simu Liu playing Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Sebastian Stan playing Bucky Barnes, Letitia Wright, Black Panther, Eben Moss-Bachrach playing The Thing, and Kelsey Grammer playing Beast. The film also stars Louis Pullman, who plays Sentry, Danny Ramirez, who plays Falcon 2, Joseph Quinn playing Johnny Storm, David Harbour playing Red Guardian, Winston Duke playing M'Baku, Hannah John Kamen playing Ghost, Tom Hiddleston playing Loki, Patrick Stewart playing Charles Xavier, Ian McKellen.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think we should just say it's the Avengers, the X-Men, and the Fantastic Four.
Minus Hugh Jackman for now.
Doesn't have Hugh Jackman yet.
For now, yeah.
Doesn't have Chris Evans yet. But I suspect those might be some additions that we hear about later.
I was almost done. Anyway, Ian McKellen playing Magneto, Alan Cumming playing Nightcrawler, Rebecca Romijn playing Mystique, James Marsden playing Cyclops, and Channing Tatum playing Gambit. Basically, if you were an X-Men and your costume or your skin was blue, you're probably coming back to Avengers Doomsday.
Dabu die.
That doesn't really work, but yes, okay. I like how they just throw Channing Tatum. It's like, I will give you a pass, Channing Tatum. You're part of the family.
Yeah. We're retconning you into this whole situation right now.
I mean, he did have a very popular appearance in Deadpool and Wolverine. Okay, so
I'm not mad at it.
Yeah. So
he had like a jokey, like that was the joke of what a bad Gambit would be. You know, it's like, can he do a good Gambit? We'll see.
So let's talk.
It's a real Gambit.
Nailed it. Let's talk about what was your reaction to the first person I need to hear from this is Devindra Hardawar, who's been talking about the X-Men
100%
for, I'm gonna say, 18 years.
This is the person I was most excited for. The person who says, are we forgetting about the X2?
Are we forgetting?
Nightcrawler starts that movie. X2, everybody.
Whenever we talk about a superhero film, Devindra is always like, but remember how good those X-Men movies were.
I need to say
specifically
X2. The children do not know. The children, there's a whole ass group of grown adults here who think very little of those X-Men movies. So, you know.
Well, they're bringing back 2 of the characters, at least, from X2, right?
One of whom literally said, never, ever will I do this again.
Yes.
Who are you referring to, Jeff?
Alan Cumming.
I see, yeah. So Alan Cumming...
Who also posted a lovely video of himself in his mansion, I guess, jumping around with a mustache and a scarf saying, never say never.
Isn't he doing that like game show thing?
Yeah, he's hosting the Traders, which is a very enjoyable show on Peacock.
I hear it's very good, but also I think Alan Cumming has a free schedule right now, so you know, get him in.
Yeah, I don't think that show takes that much time to do for him specifically, but he does a great job on it. It's highly enjoyable. Would recommend you check out the Traders on Peacock. But Devindra, Rebecca Romijn, incredible. Nightcrawler coming back. James Marsden as Cyclops, who by the way, you should assume we're going to spoil all the X-Men movies that have ever happened, all the Marvel films that have ever happened to discuss this casting news, right? But Cyclops, I believe, died in X3.
Dead.
Did he not?
Yes.
Right?
Dead in X3.
So-
yes. But
so
we're
it's-
going to do multiple universes and whatever here.
Yeah. So
What
it's
a-
going to be a multiverse movie for sure. Yeah.
What a big difference though. Like when I remember the X-Men movies, I was never a big Cyclops fan. And I don't think those movies were ever really big into Cyclops. Those were very Wolverine heavy movies. But what a turn James Marsden has had like in his career and how he's matured into his sensibility. And I was like, oh, I want to see Cyclops with the new improved James Marsden who is older, and is not just like a young Boy Scout. So I think that's going to be fun to see. All this is good. Dave, for as long as you've known me, it's been 24 years at this point.
Jesus.
We have been talking about the X-Men movies. Like, I don't think we got to see X2 together in theaters, but I distinctly remember. I think it was actually Angie Han, who's now a Hollywood Reporter. I think we went to go see X2 together. Monumental moment. Like I felt like superhero movies were changed forever after seeing that. And also that was
the
Blade
peak
2.
of superhero movie filmmaking at that time was X2, the Bryan Singer movie. Yeah.
Yes.
And-
And then we had Blade 2 like right before that too. So it felt like we were just on a hook. Like, and Spider-Man 2 was coming up, I think. Anyway.
Right.
I'm so excited.
What a simpler time in our lives.
I have said what I have been saying is that the X-Men will save the MCU. And I do kind of feel like that is the boost of life, even though these are all actors pushing 50, like beyond 50. How old is Patrick Stewart now? Like these are all
90.
older actors who we just love and we want to see them in these roles again. And I think that's a great thing. They're going to get Hugh Jackman back in somehow, but also I want, hopefully some surprises too, not just milking the nostalgia, just bringing the X-Men in fun and new ways.
Yeah, we should say we should say that they have said that more surprises are on the way. So like this is not complete, and there's probably going to be other names.
Chris Evans.
The reason why they did it this way, I think, is they are in production on Avengers Doomsday now, and so like stuff's going to start leaking, and so they thought to themselves, we need to maximize the impact of the announcement. So that's why they did it this way.
Maximize. They did.
The funniest thing, by the way, would be surprise reveal: Robert Downey Jr. as another character in the MCU, like as an X-Men, either hero or villain. Like that guy just wants to take it all for himself, basically.
Jeff,
all the attention.
Well, I was going to say my biggest question to Devindra is the thing that you have, obviously you've been hammering on the X-Men for a while, but also wanting new X-Men, right? New casting of the MCU's version of the X-Men. And how do you feel about the Fox X-Men sticking around?
Not only is it the Fox X-Men, only is it the Fox X-Men, it's the old Fox
It's
X-Men.
the old.
It's not even
the first class.
It's not even the first class
Right.
Fox X-Men, right? Like all the younger folks. There's no James McAvoy. There's no
Fassbender,
right? Which is a huge bummer.
Yeah.
That would be
Jennifer
lovely
Lawrence. Yeah. All that
right.
stuff.
Oh, Jennifer Lawrence is not.
Yeah,
she's never going to come back.
She doesn't need to put on the blue paint again.
She basically offed herself from the last movie. She's like, please, I'm in this to kill me, please.
Yeah.
So
So
it would be
no
really
first
fun
class.
to see.
What do you like? They chose the nostalgia play. They chose the ones that they know are going to get the people into the theaters, right?
I think you choose the ones, especially you got Patrick Stewart. This is your last shot to get Patrick Stewart in this role again. So I think they're making that play. At any point, they can bring in Fassbender and McAvoy and like do a slightly different thing. We're gonna have different looks at these. I like the Fox, I like most of that Fox cast, so I'm totally down with it. I don't think we'll see Halle Berry back. That's the other one. Where like she never liked the minimized role they gave her, and she was very vocal about that too. Yeah.
The Patrick Xavier, Professor Xavier, Patrick Stewart's character, is a character that has died 3 separate times.
Just like the comics.
In
every story arc, basically.
Gotta love a multiverse, baby.
So I think the fact that he's been killed 3 separate times definitely is like, there's going to be multiverse. I also strongly suspect, I'm going to just put this out there, shit ton of these people are going to die in this movie. Like I think
you're here to die.
There's probably going to be some big battle either at the beginning or the end of the movie where like you see a bunch of these, they're on screen for no more than 10 minutes and they all die.
This is my prediction is that it's the Avengers versus the X-Men. It's not, and Doom will be behind it, of course, but it will be, we will have a team up of these characters very late in probably the second movie. And most of this will be against one another, which I think will be very fun. My biggest excitement about this is that the Fantastic Four are involved as
Right.
well. Love that. That's happening. I gotta say, I popped like a mark when this was happening.
Uh-huh.
Even though I don't think this is the best route forward, I can't help myself that it's pretty cool that they're doing it. It's pretty cool that
It's the last thing you can do. It's the last play. Get all your action figures together.
That's right.
Have the big thing, you know.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I mean, I just hope they can, like, just, Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart just, got to live to see the end of production, baby. I mean, I love these guys, and I wouldn't wish ill on any of them. I hope they live for 20 more years, but these are they're getting up there, those guys.
Well, I think that Deadpool and Wolverine was so hugely successful, right? It was one of the top films of last year, and I think they realized, hey, like there is money to be made by bringing together all those superheroes that you remember as kids, new superheroes, putting them together in the same movie, and they're just doing it to an extreme level in this one.
Not only is there money to be made, there's money to be spent. And that is the key, right? Is that there isn't anything else that can do this, right? Even a Star Wars can't do this, right? There's no tapestry upon which you can hire this many of these people and have the cash to do it.
Right.
I would love somebody to write a book on just the bookkeeping of just the bean counting of this endeavor would be a wild thing. Like, how much does Rebecca Romaine make?
It was, Jeff, it reminds me of that movie, The Greatest Night in Pop. Did you watch that movie?
Oh, I did. I loved it.
I think we talked about it on the podcast.
But none of those people got paid.
Right. So, but
that was free. They were donating their time.
So, The Greatest Night in Pop is a Netflix documentary about the recording of the song "We Are the World," which had it was the equivalent of like Avengers Endgame or Avengers Doomsday, except they all had to be in one location on one day.
Yeah.
And the thing that struck me the most about that was just logistically, how do you do that? And of course, the way they did it was, I think the Grammys were that night. So it was like, oh, well, they're all going to be in town for the Grammys. So like, we literally have one night to record this song.
You've got one shot.
Yeah. And now obviously they have $1 billion they can spend on this. And so they're not, it's not the same thing. And also
that was for charity.
And that was for charity. And they don't need to, they don't need to do it all in one day. They obviously have a production schedule and so forth, but just on a production level, I think this is a massive feat. And
on every level, this is sort of like the Endgame analogy too. It's like Marvel's got one shot to kind of keep this going. What do we do? one future.
There's nothing bigger than this. They've reached peak big.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the remix of the Dewey Year Doctor Strange like magic formula, like how do we rearrange this to get people interested again? Oh, X-Men plus Avengers plus Fantastic Four coming in, like old blood, new blood, current blood. I think that's probably the best combination they've got.
I would argue, you guys, I'm curious if you disagree. I would argue this event, not the films themselves, but this chair moment is proof that there isn't necessarily comic book movie fatigue, right? That people are still excited if it's the right thing. And yes, this is, throwing literally everything at the wall. But like, I think Deadpool, Wolverine, and this are proof that like, if you can deliver, I just think that stuff like Captain America: Brave New World isn't enough anymore, right? They're mining sort of, C and D list. Like Red Hulk is not what everybody's, brings the girls to the yard or whatever. It's not what people are clamoring to see. Now, there was a time when it didn't matter, right? There was so the needle has moved, right? There's a if you tried to introduce Ant-Man today, it would not be a hit, I think. But there is still hit to be found. And I think that people have just been conditioned to wait for the real big detonations. And Marvel is just like, okay, we're going to give you the megaton bomb. And after that, then what do you got? Now you've really
Yeah.
upped the ante so far that
Right.
there's no cresting that, right? There's
Yeah.
Mhm.
you are what's the idiom? You're basically killing tomorrow to save today, right? It's and maybe that's a great idea. I don't know. Maybe making $2 billion today is enough, and then we
Maybe
can
be
sunset
happy with
all of
that.
this.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think the bigger problem is that the audience bullshit-o-meter has improved to the point where I think people can see a bad movie coming or something that doesn't really excite them. So that's what happened to Captain America, the latest one. But Deadpool Wolverine, you just say those two words together, and you're like, I'm there. I'm in that seat. I love that combination. I love this idea.
Well, that's
It's
the
the
same thing
better.
with Avengers and X-Men, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. I'm there.
yeah.
Just say the word. I've already bought my
Yeah.
ticket.
Yeah.
And it's harder to get those things, but it's also a sign like you can't just pump out garbage anymore and expect people to go. And you did that for a decade. For a decade, people would go to see everything. Be happy with that. Now you have to be good.
I
All
mean,
the
But
time.
this is
some
sorry, go
would
ahead.
not,
Yeah.
or some would argue that maybe this is also garbage. It's just of a different kind, you know?
We don't know.
Well,
We don't
it
know
would-
what it will,
yeah,
but
it's
it's
a
at least
premature.
it's
But
at least a creative swing. I'd
Right.
I
say.
think
Yeah.
the real gambit, again, to
Mhm.
use that phrase, is that I find baffling and potentially really wrongheaded from Disney Marvel's perspective, from the Feige of it all, is they had the opportunity to turn this into a beginning. Right, they had the opportunity of like casting all new X-Men and making this like a catapult into a new decade of
Right.
X-Men movies, right? And maybe that's still what they're
Yeah.
doing.
They may still do that, right?
Right.
It may
Maybe
still
that's
be
really
that.
what
Right.
the
Yeah.
the plan here is
Right.
that like it's a baton pass.
Right. I mean, we
Mhm.
literally already got that movie. It's called X-Men Days of Future Past, but
Well,
you're right.
First
Maybe it's
Well,
Class
gonna,
was
and
that
first
movie.
class, and first class.
Yeah,
Oh,
First Class was
The
that movie. But
no,
but
but I mean, like, it's literally
Mhm.
the older characters
Yes.
handing it off to the newer characters. The
Yeah,
older
yeah.
characters are not in X-Men First Class. So,
right.
but anyway, I agree with you, Jeff. Like, they're like X-Men is a huge property. Ideally, you want to introduce a new set of characters that you can return to in the X-Men universe in the
Yes.
MCU.
Yes.
And it doesn't appear that they're doing that at this moment that we're recording this, but maybe they still will.
I mean, that
Let's
feels
get
like
started. Yeah.
if that is actually what they're doing, it's a crazy, absurd, like the idea that these 27 people are not even the cast. That's
Right?
like
That would be
we're
a huge flex.
we're also casting an entire
Right.
new generation of X-Men.
That would be amazing. And I think it's very possible that's going to happen, Jeff.
That's
It's
maybe
it's
too
certainly
much.
possible.
We'll see.
Spillover thought. I think it's not just that audiences expect more; they are smarter, right? And I think sometimes they can tell where it's like, "Oh, you're franchising me. You are setting up the building blocks for a franchise rather than telling a compelling story right now." I think that's affected a lot of the shows. That's affected some of the new movies. So that's the other things. Like, I hope they don't do the new X-Men here. Maybe one or two, maybe a couple, but it's like give them their own thing. Carve that out, be a separate story, be its own full story, because right now this already seems overstuffed. You've got MCU and you've got old X-Men in here, but it's all about like instead of like forcing the stuff down our throats, like just pumping out sequels, starting franchises that may never exist, wasting great talent. By the way, Anya Taylor-Joy would have been a great X-Men. She's already been in an X-Men movie. So I don't know. They can recast and nobody saw New Mutants. So I guess it doesn't really matter. But like they were wasting so much energy and time and creative talent before. It's more like, I think when we talked about it for Star Wars, like just step back and like give us a slower rollout of like better, more thoughtful things. That's kind of the key.
I can't help myself but be really geeked for this.
Mhm.
I'm like, I
Yeah.
am geeked as hell for this. I certainly see the pitfalls and the potential for this thing to be really unwieldy and
Yeah.
weird, but they already pulled it off with Endgame, and I feel like this could
Mhm.
be so much fun.
I
Could be
agree.
so much fun.
I agree.
The,
A lot
the
of
timing
potential.
is also great, Jeff, because it's also like we can get our kids prepared for this event. We can watch all of the movies. They can know all the characters. Like they will be ready for this movie when it arrives.
All right.
That's my goal.
I reiterate, I'm going to spoil every single MCU film and TV show that has ever occurred. So if you care about that, on the show notes we'll say where what we've been watching begins. You can fast forward to there. A few things that I want to highlight from this list. First of all, Shang-Chi's coming back, which is notable.
Remember him?
Because
Yeah.
we have not seen or heard from that character in years. 2021, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings came out, and basically haven't heard from him. Like, open question as to whether he was even going to be part of the MCU moving forward.
End of credits said he will return.
Yeah, there you go. So
we can always trust his end
they've
credits.
never lied about that ever.
Nothing
That
that
sword
happened-
talked, right?
Nothing that happens after the end of a movie,
Yeah.
a Marvel movie, has ever not been picked up on.
It's
and
so
used.
true. They've followed up on every single one of those. It is notable, I think, that the Thunderbolts are going to be a huge part of this, right? Like multiple characters from Thunderbolts are going to be in here.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little bit of shot in the arm. Like, hey, make sure you get out to see the Thunderbolts.
Good.
Gotta say, I've seen glimpses of that trailer, and that movie looks like a lot of fun. I'm really excited for it when it opens in
what
early
you
May.
have seen is probably a glimpse of like the 5th or 6th trailer, Dave, because they have tried. I've watched because I watch all the trailers. Like, you're just like trying every angle to market
Yeah.
this thing. Like, there's one where it's
I
just
saw
like
the A24, like
the A24. This is a prestige movie.
Yeah.
Prestige.
that was very
cinematographers.
silly. That was very
It's
silly.
very silly, but they also know what they're doing here. So I feel like it feels like we are being marketed to for that movie more than
Right.
anybody actually being excited to see it. But hey, we'll see.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, couple of other thoughts. Letitia Wright is coming back as Black Panther, like
Mhm.
she's credited as Black Panther, and so that's notable. Is that like, oh, this might be kind of her first full movie as Black Panther? They're not doing it with it's Black Panther's kid, like it's Letitia Wright, and so that's notable. Tom Hiddleston coming back as Loki. Now, again, spoilers for Loki, the TV show, but I'm really curious how they're going to handle this one, because if you watch the TV show Loki at the end of that show, have either of you seen the end of Loki by any chance?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
sitting on a chair, kind of running the universe, basically. So
Yeah.
is it
As
going to
you
be? Is it going to be that version of Loki, or is it going to be like a different universe version of Loki?
Could be
you know?
anything.
So
at this
open
point.
question
We're
there.
full in,
Yeah.
full
At this
comic book
point, all
explanation.
bets are off. It's,
Right.
Who knows?
I think that would be a huge move if they were like, this is the Loki from the TV show, because that means you'll have to have watched the TV show, which so far none of the movies have required yet. Okay. I think it's also worth noting who is not in Avengers Doomsday. So I'm going to list not yet, correct. And again, by the time you're listening to this could have changed. The biggest one I would say, no Spider-Man, right? Spider-Man's not in here. He was obviously a huge part of Infinity War and Endgame. Not in this movie so far.
Not in this list of chair names.
Correct. Not in the list of chair names. No Hulk. Kind of interesting.
Yeah. Mark Ruffalo not there.
Yeah. No Deadpool, which is also.
I think that's not surprising to me.
Yeah,
I think
short doses.
Yeah, it's very well known that Ryan Reynolds wants to have a strong authorial vision for those Deadpool movies, and I can understand how that would clash with a movie where you have 800 other characters that need their attention.
Also, he kind of lives on the edges of everything, and
Right.
his tone is not, I think, what they're going for here.
No one from WandaVision is in here, so no Vision, no Wanda Maximoff.
I thought I saw Wanda Maximoff.
I don't believe so.
No?
Nope, not on the initial list. And that I'm actually curious about. I mean, there's supposed to be like a Vision follow-up TV show, and I think maybe that's what they'll keep that character for now. But yeah, again, Wanda Maximoff, Vision, huge. Literally, Vision was the motivation for Avengers: Infinity War, right? So like, these are huge portions of the franchise.
Age
that
of
are missing.
Ultron, like so many things.
Age of Ultron, right?
Heavy
Yeah.
for a while. Yeah.
No Doctor Strange. None of the magic people basically are in this list so far. No
None
Nick
of the
Fury.
Eternals. Huh.
Dude, that was going to be my last. You stole my thunder there, but
Yeah.
there are no Eternals in the
Wow.
movie, and
Shocker.
that's a
Shocker.
shame. That's a shame. It's a movie that made over $300 million worldwide. So,
It doesn't seem to be like the Guardians of the Galaxy aren't there.
Right, that's right.
The Eternals
That's
aren't
true.
the cosmic side.
the
Captain
cosmic
Marvel
side,
isn't.
yeah.
Captain Marvel isn't there. Like none of the cosmic side, which I think is smart, right? Because they're OP and this is weird, and we're not in space. And I like the fact that this feels to me like classic Secret Wars. It feels to me like Doom, who, I think maybe this was the original idea for what Kang was going to do, is we're going to gather all these people from different realities, the heroes of different realities, and make them fight each other, which is Secret Wars, basically, which is OG, like Beyonder, Secret Wars stuff from the 80s. I don't know for a fact that that's what's going to happen, but I suspect that's what's going to happen. And it'll be Doom sort of pulling the strings. And then inside that, the heroes figuring out that maybe they need to team up and stop Doom. That's, I think, the sort of bones of it. At least that's my prediction. Could be completely different than that, but I suspect we're going to get a lot of hero versus hero action without any real direct hero versus villain stuff or at least in the first act of this sort of duo of movies.
Mm-hmm.
It is curious that Captain Marvel's not there. Kamala Khan's not there, right? Like, the Marvels movie obviously didn't do very well, but she has been built up over the movies as like such a powerful being.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I know the movie didn't do very well, but it's
I would
like
say, don't waste your young cast. Like, there's so much you can do with these folks. Come on.
right. She's yeah. So who knows kind of what the state of those characters are at this
A
point?
lot of
whether
other
they'll be in
young
the movie.
Avengers, though,
Mm-hmm.
potentially.
Yeah. No Nick Fury or Hawkeye in the movie.
Nick Fury is a big surprise for me because I feel like Samuel L. Jackson's down for whatever.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if you've seen Secret Invasion, you know he will do literally
literally anything.
So, yeah, that's also a surprise. But so those are something. No Agatha, like none of the. There's a bunch of like TV characters that aren't going to be in the movie as well. So, anyway.
I think the biggest of that, all of that is understandable to me, except for Spider-Man. I don't know why Spider-Man is not in this. I don't know if what they're doing with the next Spider-Man movie conflicts with it, or if there's some other issue that is more business than it is narrative for it. But I'm surprised this large of a coming together of Marvel icons does not include Spider-Man.
Yeah, indeed. Again, with the caveat that by the time you're listening to this, it might have all changed.
Could be,
but.
yeah. Spider-Man and Wolverine, right? It's like, I'm sure
no Wolverine either.
Like coaxing Hugh Jackman to do yet another one probably isn't easy as from a money perspective. But I wonder if maybe what comes of this is we get the casting of a new Wolverine, and that's the springboard. I don't know.
I mean, they tease us with the Henry Cavill Wolverine.
Yeah,
he's right there. He's pretty.
I feel like he's already too old, but
he's already a little too old. But I do love people were passing around the clip of him in the Deadpool movie. I didn't realize he did the arm reloading. He did do the arm reloading with the Wolverine claws. I'm like, man, Henry Cavill, you know exactly what you're doing.
You got to believe they're going to try to get Hugh Jackman back for something, though, given that Deadpool and Wolverine made $1.3 billion, you know?
Oh, yeah, but maybe I'm sure that means that Hugh Jackman is Robert Downey Jr. level paycheck.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I am also excited about this, Jeff. There is something to me that feels also very sad about it, like in the same way of there's like a statistic that's come out recently, or statistics come out recently about like how a lot of music that is listened to right now on Spotify and stuff is old music, right? Like
same thing with video games.
Right.
Yes. PC gamers, evidently like 8% of total time played across all PC games on Steam are new games. 8%.
Right. So the other 92% is
like older than 5 years. Like we're not released in this last 5 years.
Yeah.
That's what they mean by not new. That's crazy.
Yeah. So what that means is essentially like, because of societal forces, because of technological forces or economic forces, people are predisposed to want things from the past as opposed to like wanting new things. And I agree that like it's like, where do they go from here? Like I don't think they can pull off an Avengers Doomsday again. Do you know?
Well, I think this feels like the last hurrah. Unless
you think it's over after this,
you got to start something. Instead, this feels like another ending of something.
Yeah.
Maybe this movie figures out a way to start something, as we've been postulating. But
maybe this is it. Maybe this is it. And it's like this is the end of the MCU as we knew it. Like that, maybe they are never able to achieve this height again after this. Right.
I think that's certainly a possibility. However, if this makes billions of dollars, Disney will be like, do it again.
Whatever it takes.
Yes.
We've learned
However
nothing
much
from
money
our past mistakes.
This
Yeah.
is already a do whatever it takes, right?
Yes,
This is already
it is.
yeah.
It is.
get those Russo brothers, pay him whatever it takes. Get that Robert Downey
Yeah.
Jr., pay him whatever it takes. Get any name we can get, pay him whatever. Like, I feel like this is already a give me that end game money again. And I don't know if you can do that again. You know what I'm saying?
I totally know what you're saying. Yeah, it's kind of like, okay, this is probably going to be exciting, but that what comes afterwards,
Mhm.
I agree they need to start something new, right? They need to start the thing that's going to be referred to in the Avengers movie that's made 25 years from now, right? So
Yes. And I, I don't want to even be, I hesitate to go where I'm going now, which is like, I just took my son to see the Minecraft movie this last weekend. We'll talk about that on a later episode, but this feels not just like the potential end of this MCU, but like the end of blockbuster cinema in a lot of ways. It's like it's the last gasp for an entire generation of people who still thought movies were special. And I feel like movies just aren't special to a whole new generation of
Yeah.
people. That just
Yeah.
there's nothing special about a movie. It's just another thing. It's just content. And we're at the end of the tail of the beast that we created, where everything is content. And we all grew up, and everybody that precedes us grew up where a movie was a special thing. This is kind of what you were talking about earlier when you were talking about the posters at the draft house.
Yeah.
Like, that's just not how my children think
Yeah.
about movies. They don't think about them as special. There's nothing special to my son about the Minecraft movie. It's just another thing in his enjoyment of Minecraft.
Yeah.
It's not, there's not like, oh my God, they made a movie of Minecraft. It's like, of course they did. They made a movie of Mario. They made a movie of Sonic. That's what they
Right.
do.
Right, but when we were kids, it's like if they made a Minecraft, it would be we'd be losing our minds. about how-
Unbelievable. They made a
Right.
movie, because movies are the top of
Right.
the mountain.
Yeah.
It's like that's the
It does depend. Like for my daughter, she did have the, oh my God, they're doing a Minecraft movie. And I'll say more about our screening, but like I was there. There were super fans in the crowd. Kids.
Devindra has
Yeah.
instilled in his children a healthy respect of the movie as an art form, Jeff Canada.
I'm not
That's,
saying
I
that
mean-
the Minecraft movie is going to make a disgusting amount of money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just as Sonic has and just as Mario has. I don't think that's not exactly what I'm saying is that it won't be popular. I just think it's not, I don't think it's viewed with the same reverence that we view films. Like even
Sure.
even trashy blockbuster films, even sort of popcorn movies, I think we look at as being special in a way that an entire generation of kids just don't view the cinemas. Like going to the movies is not special.
But that kind of applies to everything though, Jeff, like what you were saying about games. People got Minecraft, right? You don't need any other game.
Yeah.
You don't need to play anything else. You've got your one game that can be Roblox, it could be Minecraft, it could be an infinite world that you were just in forever.
Call of Duty.
And
you have like the Uber, you have these Uber games basically.
That's right.
That like
Yeah.
they take over everything.
So
And
the shape of how we consume entertainment, it's not just movies, but the shape of everything
Right.
is changing, you know?
I agree.
I do think, Jeff, I agree that these Marvel films have been event movies. I think I saw a Skeet on Blue Sky or something that was like if I grew up and 90% of the movies that were out in theaters were Marvel films or DC films, like I don't know if I would have the love of movies that I have today. Do you know what I mean? Now, that might be the opposite for you and other people, but like I don't know.
I
Yeah,
don't
it's
We
unclear.
grew up at the height of the like 90s action
Yes.
era. What do I think back of fondly? Those beautiful 90s action movies. Like it has a
Right.
special place in my heart.
The Matrix,
depends.
like
The Matrix, everything.
The 90s
Yeah.
were like really a great decade for cinema. Not saying it's the best, but like tremendous movies came out that.
But we were also overloaded with shitty action movies in the 90s. Like it was the thing that everybody was doing with big explosions and whatever. So, I think it just changes. But I think back to like my theater, my local Regal theater, the one where I go every time I go there. tons of Indian immigrant families go into the movies. They have like 20 screens, and half of them are usually the latest like stuff out of India and out of Asia, actually, too. And I just saw Regal's doing Indian snacks, chicken tandoori snacks. In the like, cater to your audience.
That's pretty rad.
Cater to the people coming to you. Get the movies that the audience actually wants to see in the theaters. Like, there are other ways of reconfiguring how we think of movie theaters, and I am seeing like things happening. Like, those people are always there, and they're bringing their whole families, and probably costs a crap ton of money. But there are ways of rethinking the movie going experience. I think.
If I was still working at the movie theater, I would not want to be picking up 1,000 skewers.
Nope, it would be real bad.
Those
And
are
also, they're
They're
pokey.
poked.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Jeff, I tend to agree that maybe what we're seeing with Avengers Doomsday is the end of something. And we will see
that's
how
a
it
good
all
thing.
plays out. And
Maybe
it's a good
you
thing.
have to kill something.
Yeah.
I mean,
to
it's
be
literally
reborn.
called Doomsday.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Indeed. Thank you so much for watching this video of the Filmcast. Check out these other videos that we have available, and be sure to hit like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to get other videos from us in the future.
You can also go to thefilmcast.com to catch all of our audio podcast versions of all of our episodes.
And support this podcast at patreon.com/filmpodcast, where you can sign up for ad-free episodes and exclusive After Darks.
Thanks so much to everyone who makes the Filmcast possible.